All right, guys, so let's jump into it. Very busy week in professional wrestling, specifically for WWE programming. Let's go back already, almost a week ago now, to Monday Night Raw. Richard, I mean, you and I were talking off the air. Actually, there was a lot of big things that happened on Raw this week. So what's kind of like one of the first big takes that you enjoyed from this week's episode of Raw?
Right off the bat, Heath Slater coming out.
Yeah.
Cool surprise. I wasn't online all day besides posting. Mm-hmm. And man, that was a cool surprise. And I want to see more work shoot kind of promos like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, real promos. You got to see a different side of him than we've got to see on TV before. So I was way into it. They really made Drew McIntyre not look like a great friend.
Right? I mean, that was my thing, was like, I mean, okay, for the storyline here, Dolph Ziggler is trying to, like, you know, really get under Drew McIntyre's skin. And it was almost like, what's that old game show, This Is Your Life type of thing, where he brings out Heath Slater, and Heath Slater, who, you know, was unfortunately let go from WWE back in April. And we all are kind of waiting for anticipation what he wants to do next. He's been teasing on Twitter. I think, was it July 18th is his big day of doing something, which obviously is the same day as Slammiversary. So maybe we'll see what happens there. But it's, you know, he's been, you know, sitting at home, and it looks like he's been working out a lot. He came out looking
jacked,
buffed as well. I mean, so he comes out to the ring and cuts this like really awesome promo. And Richard, as you said, it just was very emotional, and it was borderline shooting on the whole situation, that what he's been going through, and really calling out Drew for being, like a bad friend and
a total dick.
Yeah. And so, like, I kind of wish Drew McIntyre at least would respond to him and kind of maybe defend himself, but he didn't. So, like, Drew, by the end of that segment, still looked like an a-hole, and he's supposed to be our babyface champion. So
he paid him forward at the end.
Yes. So they had a match. I guess Heath demanded a match because he said, you owe me one. And they had a match, and it was a quick squash.
Yeah.
And
just gave him the his move.
The Claymore. I mean, Heath got a couple shots in, and Drew laid the Claymore into him, and he won. And so, like, that's it. Like, Drew just beats his friend really quick as well. So once again, kind of like, I don't know if you go and interpret that as being a dick, as far as, you know.
It was just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
So, this whole promo, that whole segment, I think, like, as much as I love Drew McIntyre being this dominant world champion for WWE, this segment, like, if I'm just looking at it for what it is, face value, he looks kind of like an a-hole in all this situation. I mean, you know, we saw later on, you know, they hugged it out, and they both threw up the 3MB hand gesture to one another. So they ended on a good note, I would say.
Good note. And
then also Heath Slater, I guess, did a backstage segment for the website and said this was his way of getting closure. So
I wouldn't be surprised if he does a Drew McIntyre and goes away for a year or two and comes back.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look at Heath Slater's career, and I think it was an interview I heard him do with Chris Van Fleet, and he mentioned, like, I think he started out was in Georgia or somewhere on the East Coast, Southeast Coast, and then quickly got signed by WWE. And so, he's been a WWE guy for over a decade.
And he was trained by Curtis Hughes, I believe.
Yeah. So for Heath Slater, he's one of those guys that, like, I could see him be a WWE lifer. So that's why I was really shocked when he got let go earlier this year. So like, very much in the similar to his 3MB band members, his friends like Drew and Jinder, maybe go away for a couple years, come back super jacked, and maybe come back and eventually get a title shot.
Put the band back together.
Jinder Mahal, where are you?
One night only. But Jinder, unfortunately, he got injured again recently, so he's sidelined. So I think for all of us who were anticipating that would be like the next opponent for Drew, that's going to be on hold. And it looks like, just, you know, fantasy booking, it looks like Drew's going to go through Dolph next weekend at Extreme Rules. And then I think for all of us, our fingers are crossed it may be him and Randy Orton.
Oh, yeah.
A matchup at SummerSlam.
It's what the fans want.
I'm into that.
Yeah. And then, so, all right. I think other than the Heath Slater segment, like the like second most talked about thing on Raw this week was not even like this, like a match or a person. It was a physical thing. It was the big reveal of WWE's new design for their U.S. title.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God.
So it was this interesting segment with MVP and Bobby Lashley come out, and was it MVP pretty much like not so much declared himself the U.S. champion, but he revealed it, right, Richard?
Yeah. He revealed it and pretty much said that he's going to carry it. So
Apollo Crews, who's the current actual champion, who wasn't
he's
on,
going to hold on to it for him.
so he's gonna hold on to it till Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
And so he reveals the title, and like just the whole social media that night was just going crazy.
Yeah.
People sharing photos of it. I posted photos at In The Kliq on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram if you want to look them up yourselves if you haven't seen it yet. But just curious, you guys, Richard, what was kind of your initial reaction seeing this new design?
I'm so happy. I mean,
Really?
I love the WCW U.S. Championship.
Yeah.
That was just gorgeous. And I've hated the designs that WWE's had for it since. The spinner one was god-awful.
Oof.
I loved it. I think it's great. With the Intercontinental Championship, I love that one as well right now. I'm hoping that we're going to get revamps for all the belts. So
I think the rumor is there's plans to
trickle them out.
Yeah, redo a few of them. So U.S. or Intercontinental was most recent. U.S. title, and then even the NXT championship is not necessarily getting a redesign because they just got one within the last couple of years, but it's actually just going to be made bigger. So it's just going to be what it is.
Which one?
The NXT championship.
Okay.
So the rumor is it's just going to be made bigger. Like it's same exact belt, but just bigger. And a lot of people, when that rumor first came out, it's like, So I wonder, that's foreshadowing that Keith Lee was going to win the championship. He's a big man, and he needs
Why doesn't Triple H just use the WCW World Championship and put NXT on top?
the big gold belt.
I want that belt back.
Well, I think the Universal Championship might need to go. That's a whole nother discussion. I saw a great video online this week in some this YouTube channel, this guy named The Great One, and he did a video discussing just how, like, pretty much how cursed the Universal Championship's been in its 4-year existence thus far, and just how bad it's been. So
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a Brock Lesnar truther.
But this video is great. I might have to share it on our social pages, but he just pretty much said, like, just get rid of it and bring back the big gold belt. Just that belt is just class. It's prestige. It's just amazing.
It's got history.
Exactly. So, but yeah, so the NXT Championship, they're going to make that a little bit bigger. And so with that being said, nice timing since Keith Lee, spoiler for our Great American Bash discussion later, it makes sense to make it a little bit bigger to fit around Keith Lee because he's a big man himself. So the previous size or the current size obviously looked fine on Adam Cole. He is a smaller guy, but yeah, now that Keith Lee's the champion, it makes sense to make it a little bit bigger. So it looks a little more just proportional to Keith Lee's size. So, but go back to the U.S. title. So Tommy, I know you were telling me that you really like the U.S. title.
Yeah,
design.
I'm a huge fan of it.
Why is that?
I posted, I tweeted that in comparison, the eagle on the belt, it just looks like the old NWA U.S. title.
Okay. Yeah, that's like, for me, when I first saw it, I was like, it kind of just quick glimpse. It looked like a little bit like a toy to me. I don't know why. Maybe because just the lighting on.
Some say it looks like it's from a video game.
Yeah, like when it was first revealed on Raw, Raw had the big, light on it. So it kind of looked a little odd to me with the glare, but then WWE released some more like HD, better like
quality
photos of it. And you looked up close, and I was like, wow, I love that it's pretty much like covered in gold. Like
Yes.
that's I
I
love.
mean, the belt that they were using previously looked like a red, white, and blue version of. You remember what the light heavyweight championship used to look like?
yeah.
It looked like that. It just looked small and meaningless to me. This looks like something you would want to win and keep.
Yeah, well, I just like for me, I'm always a big fan. Like title belts in wrestling specifically, I want them to have gold on it, gold plates of some sort,
and eagles.
Yes, eagles like America,
Gold like the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I'm not a fan of like these titles that either have silver plates or bronze plates or like I feel like you're the champion of that respected division, tag, world champion, whatever it may be. Like I want gold. I want big gold plates on there that just it's flashy and you've earned it. You're the number one person in that respected division you're representing. So
Gold like our team, red and gold, the San Francisco 49ers.
yes, exactly. But like I guess for me, I was a little taken back by the big letters champion, and the United States was kind of a little more smaller font. I was kind of thinking maybe they switch it up a little bit of the two, but I do like the big eagle on it. I like just the subtle red, white in the middle of it, I believe, just going off my memory there. But overall, it's grown on to me. And I think over time, for a lot of people, it's going to grow onto them. So, just be patient. Just,
I saw a lot of complaining, and I don't know why, because the other belt was ugly. This is an upgrade for sure.
Yes.
For me, okay. I don't know if you guys heard
It's an upgrade.
It's
upgrade. Well, here's my thing. Like my big beef always with like the U.S. title is I don't like the pointing part of it at the bottom, because I feel like if you're a champion, you're wearing it and you sit down, like that pointing thing is going to stab your balls. Like that. That's what I don't.
It's to hide your nub.
Yeah,
that too. So I've always been not biggest fan of the U.S. title. Like you said, Richard, the one in WCW, I love that one.
Oh yeah.
Like for me, like a U.S. champion or just any championship, I like, for me personally, I like big circular designs with big gold plates on it. I've always been a fan of that. So obviously the Wing Eagle belt of WWF back in the 80s and early 90s, even the Attitude Era one, the one that Stone Cold first got.
Hammerstone's belt.
Oh my God, Hammerstone's belt in MLW is gorgeous.
It's like you could eat off that.
Yeah, MLW, like we talked about this before, MLW has the best looking titles in all of pro wrestling right now.
Yes.
Agreed.
Big circular gold plates. That to me is a championship.
Yeah.
So I don't know why WWE, the powers that be who design these titles or come up with them, want the designs that they do. But yeah, I'm all a fan of big circular plates and that look. So I don't know, that'd be yet to be seen. But if we can't get that, I think the second option of like how the US title was in WCW, I'm all for that as well, because it's still a big plate and it kind of comes up more at the top, like a not necessarily like a pyramid, but it's almost like a I'm not describing.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
like
everyone who's WCW titles, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, just something to get used to for the next foreseeable future for the U.S. title. And the next thing for this week's episode of Raw that got everyone talking, and I think it's going to be one of the main things people want to tune into Extreme Rules this Sunday, is the ongoing battle between Rey Mysterio and the Monday Night Messiah,
Seth Rollins.
So it's coming to a head, and they're going to have a match at Extreme Rules. And as Rey Mysterio revealed, it's going to be an eye for an eye match. And so
yeah, that's going to be another cinematic one.
It has to. And so apparently, and now like the last few days, it's being revealed that the winner of the match has to actually pull out the other person's eye. Which I'm like, oh my God, like what
the hell?
How do you get to pull this?
Shit, pal.
I'm like, how are you gonna pull this off? But yeah, so apparently it's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna be CGI or some sort of prosthetic, but yeah, Richard, as you said, it has to be a cinematic match to kind of do it in a way where
I'm not gonna hate on it yet, because when everyone heard Boneyard match, their eyes rolled.
Yeah.
No pun intended. And
I hear you.
Everything that they've been doing with the cinematic stuff has been awesome. So I'm just gonna judge it when I see it.
Like Vince McMahon said, we make movies.
Yeah. And so far, they're knocking out of the park with their movies. So
so it's gonna be interesting how they're gonna pull this off, and if there's gonna be blood or guts or any sort. I don't know. I don't know. I
doubt it. But.
Yeah, I'm curious how this is going to play out. But just real quick before we move on, also Rey Mysterio was announced. I guess he's been working the last few months without a contract. I guess they've been in the process of contract negotiations, and I guess he wants a raise. Vince says no. We're in a pandemic. People are being let go. I don't have the money to give you a raise, even though WWE is being very profitable this year. So it's all this back and forth. So I'm curious what's Rey Mysterio's future going to be. I guess depending maybe the outcome of this match, if he actually loses an eye, is that how you really write him off for good? And the
loser leaves town type stipulation?
Yeah, so if Rey loses...
I think he's sticking. I think he's for sure because of Dominic.
Exactly. So that's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, he can leave and pull a Rick Rude and show up on AEW next week. And it's like... No.
He could, but he's not.
Yeah, that's the thing, because Dominic, he wants to see his son be successful, and Dominic, which I believe he's working out with WWE. I would assume maybe once the storyline's done, I would love to see Dominic move over to NXT and start having build his own path and career from there. But yeah, I don't necessarily see Rey Mysterio running away or leaving. Who knows? He might even say you know what? Pay me what you've been currently paying me. I'll resign. And then as long as you take care of Dominic and give him a contract, that way, Dominic's getting taken care of.
I've heard Ray talk about in interviews how he wants to team with Dominic when Dominic's ready to go. So it's kind of why would he leave if the potential of not fulfilling that dream
is so close?
So
maybe SummerSlam.
From what I've seen of Dominic, he looks like a big guy, but he's agile as hell.
Yeah, I mean, even what he did with Brock Lesnar, dude, he looks great. So I think Vince McMahon knows that's money right there. So
goddamn pal.
So I'm with you. I think Rey Mysterio is going to stick around and just at least for the next short term. I'm not a year or so. As long as he sees Dominic get his career going, and then we'll see from there. And all right, so looking ahead also to Extreme Rules, it's Asuka is going to be wrestling. So this week, Asuka had a match with Bayley. So it was women's champion versus women's champion, and then also each of their respected partners from most recently, Kairi Sane and Sasha Banks had a match with one another. So
Kairi was on Raw?
Yeah.
Yep.
You mean Uncle Dave was wrong?
So anyone who was curious, last week we were gonna potentially go on the air and talk about the rumor of Kairi Sane leaving WWE and moving back to Japan. And there's a lot of rumors of, maybe WWE wants to keep her around, at least sign her on to be an ambassador over in Japan and help maybe lead the charge for NXT Japan. There's so much different speculations and rumors. And there was rumors she wasn't going to be on Raw this past week. Sure enough, she was on there.
Boom.
So
had a great match too, Sasha.
Yeah. So now it as you said, Richard, kind of people speculating how accurate was Dave Meltzer's reporting to begin with.
Womp womp.
You know it's wrong when he's the only one reporting
it.
Yeah.
No one else was reporting it. It was just him.
Nope.
And so, Kairi Sane showed up, had a great match with Sasha Banks, and I'm happy to see her back because I don't want the last image of us remembering her is with that match against Nia Jax. And then who knows? I mean, we'll still yet to be seen if she is still going to leave or not, if her contract's up, if she resigns or whatnot. I think the one rumor is that, they're going to try to, if hypothetically she does want to leave and move back to Japan to be with her husband, they were going to try to come up with a career-ending injury, and then that would motivate Asuka for her match at SummerSlam of some sort. I don't know. We'll still take it 1 week at a time. But so that was something we were going to talk about last week, but we didn't because we just feel like there wasn't enough evidence yet. And then sure enough, the next day, Kairi showed up. So it like you said, the Kairi, I think that's just going to be an ongoing story until we see results of what happens next. So we can speculate, but we'll save time and energy with that. But then also Asuka, Great match against Bailey. Tommy, your thoughts on the whole Asuka match for the week?
Well, I remember it was just, great ebb and flow type of match. That's all I have to say. I mean,
yeah, no, Asuka, God, she's been such the MVP of this pandemic era.
Yeah.
Right, Richard? I mean, it's like, dude, she's Absolutely. So entertaining. Like, listen, I know, people who maybe English is not their first language, that there's always been rumors of Vince or whoever doesn't want to properly push them. But Asuka is...
She's killing it.
Ball of energy.
Yeah.
I mean, for those who complain about Nakamura, Asuka came in with knowing less English, and now she speaks better English, and she's more entertaining. I nothing against Nakamura at all. I think he's one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
But, she's entertaining as hell.
And it's been so much fun watching her, and like I really hope she has a long reign as a Raw Women's Champion. But yeah, great match with Bailey. I mean, we're very lucky. I'm very happy. Okay, Becky's gone, pregnant right now. Charlotte's taking time away, so I'm really enjoying this time right now as far as seeing Asuka, Bailey, Sasha, all of them kind of get elevated more on the main event scene for the women's division.
And Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley, all that. So I'm really happy, and that's why I'm really taking the time to enjoy this, because who knows if Becky and Charlotte, they'll be back, whenever, and they'll probably dominate the screen time once again. But for the time being, I'm really enjoying for what it is of all that stuff. So yeah, Raw this week was a very fun, entertaining show in many ways.
I gave it 2 thumbs up. Also, I don't know about you guys, but I've been enjoying the Bruce Pritchard era of Raw. It's been very entertaining for me.
Yeah, it's been very interesting because you look at like SmackDown, not to jump ahead to SmackDown already, but as far as SmackDown, the use of more of like the veterans and like established guys who've been in WWE for a long time are getting most of the storylines right now. And Raw for the last few months under Heyman, it's more the newer guys, the younger guys. And now you kind of see like a little bit of this transition right now where it's like some of Heyman's guys that he's working with are still getting some screen time, but now it's like more the established guys. Bobby Lashley, obviously Drew as champion, Dolph Ziggler, they're kind of coming into the fold now. So Raw, that's where I'm really trying to tune in and kind of see who's being used, and you can kind of tell which era or guess like how's Bruce Pritchard's role is affecting the day-to-day or week-to-week episodes of Raw, of like who's going to get more screen time now, and how that's very much mirroring what's going on SmackDown as well. So
I've noticed this because me and my buddy William have talked about this a million times. It's felt like in the past that the writers or creative don't know how to use foreign talent that doesn't speak English well.
Okay.
So since Bruce has come, I feel like Nakamura's been used better. I feel like Andrade's been used where he wasn't before. And it's like those are 2 guys right there that are easily main event type caliber performers. So I just like that someone finally figured it out, because Heyman couldn't figure it out, and I don't know what exactly Bischoff was doing there, but I'm a big fan of Bischoff, but those guys weren't getting used under him.
Yeah, so it's really going to be an interesting, just moving forward. Yeah, how's Bruce Pritchard going to continue using these people, men and women?
Yeah.
And yeah, to give Bruce Pritchard credit, it really seems like he's kind of utilizing some of these talents better than what other people were trying to use them for.
Asuka and Kairi as well.
Yeah,
I mean, the Kabuki Warriors were the tag team champions for how long, and they barely defended the titles, and they were awesome together.
Yeah,
so
I loved it. Yeah, shout out to Kairi Sane this week playing the flute. Yeah, with Asuka. So yeah, Kairi Sane, very talented in many ways, in and out of the ring.